I think there's so much more to the Igbo culture than we're taught or is let on. There are layers to it, things you don't really understand until you're standing right in the middle of it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my official video, and I know I said that the last one was my first official video, but like this is my first official video and your first official peek into what my life is like.
Flow like a mountain that cannot be moved. Flow like a mountain.
So, a couple weeks ago, my father received an auto title, which is more commonly known in the Igbo culture as the chieftaincy title. I'm from Onitsha, Anambra State, and where I come from, this meant that we all had to be in the village for a week, right? So, let's go back a couple weeks, shall we? Travel day. I'm looking like scrap. We left really early, which is why we had to stop to buy some food. So yeah, we were to be in the village 2 days before the event days. The event started on Monday, which means we left Enugu on Saturday, which is why I said I looked like scrap. Um, my sisters and I decided to leave most of our getting ready and our prep to when we were in Anambra State because in Anambra, in Onitsha specifically, I don't know how it is in other villages in Anambra, but in Onitsha, this event lasts 3 days, right? So we left all our prep to when we were in Onitsha. And if you know anything about being in a new place and having to find makeup artists, hair, everything, we left everything. I think the only thing I had done was my nails. So it basically meant that we were leaving our prep in the hands of God. Okay, so for the rest of the arrival day, being Saturday, we had to figure ourselves out. And then at the end of it, we were pretty much just worn out. So we slept off. And then by Sunday, we had to now figure out our prep. So um, my sister and I, my younger sister and I, found a hair salon. So, we crossed our hearts and hoped to die and decided to go get our hair done in that salon. We waited for the hairdresser till around 3 p.m., if I'm correct, around 3 p.m. And then we went to go get our hair done. And we were just hoping that she would eat because it wasn't even anything serious. It wasn't anything serious. It was just a ponytail. But then at the same time, I never been here before. I don't know what to expect from you guys. I was just hoping that somehow she would eat. And as we can all see, all our doubts were cleared because the slick back was slicking, the pony was ponying, and overall, she ate. Okay, so by now it's like 7 p.m. ish. My mom has called me like 5 times already because I forgot to mention we got there and this woman was pregnant. No shit that. But sometimes, sometimes the worst thing that you can do for yourself is have a pregnant person do your hair because sometimes they can be really cranky or impatient or just really slow. And we did not have the time for that, right? We were supposed to be moving to the hotel, which is closer to the festival grounds. So we just had to keep up with time. But she was not the only one there. So she was juggling between my hair, my sister's hair, my hair, my sister. We got back around 7:30, I think to 8, to discover that our bags were packed. And it's funny because the last like on Saturday, when we got there, we kind of unpacked a little because no one was really sure when we were to be moving to the hotel. Right. So we unpacked a little bit only to find out that they had packed all our things for us. We didn't know where anything was. And then they just said, you know what, we packed food for you guys. Get to the car, let's go. My apologies for the low exposure, but this was us being ushered into the hotel. A little chaotic, but yeah. Now, please enjoy a couple seconds of my sister dancing. Please bear with my horrible attempt at doing a room tour. I was extremely tired, and so this is all you get. Now it's officially Monday, day one. So we woke up bright and early because I think we had to be at the Iba. I don't know what Iba translates to in other Igbo dialects, but for us, the origin, yes, the origin place of the family, right? That's what the Iba is. So we had to get up bright and early to get there. And my dad came in with his brother. I I forget my father got this title alongside his younger brother. So it was a joint occasion for the both of them. So they came in bright and early. They came like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and then we came, we prayed. Right after that we went back to prep, and then everyone was rushing, 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 rushing. My mom and my older sister had to leave the hotel before us because they were needed at the Iba. They were needed at the Iba for some rites. So they left before us, and then myself and my the rest of my siblings and the whole entourage, we came eventually, like say around 11, 10 o'clock. This was us vibing after prepping, looking good as always. Okay, so then we got to the Iba, and it's a bunch of canopies. People are sitting in the canopies. I don't see my dad and my uncle. I see my mom and my uncle's wife. They're just sitting down. That they were tying their gillies at the time when we got there. So I'm asking questions like, "Where's everybody? What's happening?" And then they tell us that they haven't seen the men at first. Apparently, they weren't allowed to see them because they had to do some rites first. Also, it's very, very important to note, I don't know who's going to see this thing. I don't know if at some point in life, your husband, your children, somebody, your son, your I don't know, is going to take an other title. If you're from Onisha, everything is fine, 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 fine. You see the man when you're not supposed to see him, fine. They see you, fine. You don't tie a pap, fine. Everything is just fine, fine, fine. They were just fine everybody, but we didn't get any fine, thankfully. So eventually, after some time, they let them come out to do the dance procession, and then they're wearing white, which my mom says signifies purity. I want to do a small disclaimer, very tiny disclaimer. This is not some extremely researched work. I'm just telling you from my own experience and from the experience I had with my family. And because I wasn't everywhere, I did not know everything that was happening. Also, we were prevented from seeing the men at certain points. So I don't really know what they did. I just know that, you know, we did some rights, and that's just what I'm taking you through. So, yes, they come out and then they're dancing and so this is the dance procession. They danced for quite a while. Apparently, one of the traditions was that only my brothers were allowed to pick money for my dad, and for my mom, only my older sister. So that's what you're seeing there. Okay, then we danced and danced and danced and danced and danced, and then they got us food. I don't even know whether to say what I thought about the food, but some people catered for that day. It wasn't too great, but they got us food, and then after we ate, I was really tired. My social battery is like non-existent when it comes to social functions, so I lose interest very quickly. I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to go home. We went back to the hotel. I think we got food. I don't remember, but I think we ordered food from the hotel. We all just hung out, gisted a little bit, and then we went to bed.
Say hi to my vlog.
Oh yeah, day two was to be a night event. It started at 9 o'clock, and they were supposed to go on for a vigil. So we started prep. Started prepping. I think around 6. My dress was so beautiful, but at the same time, I had issues with it at the arm. So at some point, we had to buy a razor to kind of cut the elastic at the arm. It was so chaotic. Our getting ready that night was so chaotic. But by the grace of God, we finished. We're done getting ready. Everyone is checking out their outfits, making videos, taking pictures where necessary, just everything to make sure that we are good for the night because we're going to be there for a while. They had told us that we were to be there at night because there were some rituals that were supposed to happen, right? But at the end of the day, I didn't really see a reason why we were there. This is just me being very honest. I didn't see a reason why we were there. My sisters and I, and my brothers as well, we were cooped up in the vehicle. At some point, we had to calm down and just walk around so that we'll not be tired. It was taboo for us to see them when they come into the festival grounds because I don't know, but apparently we were going to be fined if we saw any of them. That's if we saw my uncle or my dad. They saw us, we were going to be fined. If we saw them, they were going to be fined. Then they eventually came. They came in a bus. They were wearing white. Um, they went into like the main field. Where we were was like a field that had tents, but collapsed tents. So when they came in the bus, they asked us to hide inside the car and ensure that they don't see us. Then they went into the field, and the men, the titled men, they did this whole rhythmic thudding and dancing thing, and then they went circled them a couple of times and then they went back. My brothers were the only ones who actually saw the depth of the tradition because they were men, but we were not allowed in there. This was us at the field at night. We are all really, really tired, just waiting for whatever we were waiting for because at this point we didn't exactly know what it was. So yeah, this was the field where the main events was to happen, but this was where they had the traditional dancing thing happen, and this is just us being tired and trying to engage ourselves as much as possible before morning. And then, by the glory of God, eventually morning came. But here's where it now got interesting. The previous day, the previous day, we were starving in the hotel because the hotel people, they didn't used to bring food on time. They would take 5 hours, and I'm not even kidding with you, like 5 hours just to prepare indomie. So my mom wasn't having any of it. She went out to look for food in a land that we don't exactly know like that, and she bought roadside beans and plantain. So yes, you guessed it right. We got food poisoning. Now imagine this. Imagine this, right? My sisters and I, my brothers, I think my brothers were fine for the most part, who had beans and plantain with our sensitive stomachs, were waiting for morning to come. Now, oh my god, it was so funny. By morning, we had to rush back to the hotel around like 5:30, 6 a.m. We had to rush back to the hotel. While we were there, my mom started calling. So then the driver, we got back into the car, the driver zoomed off. Thankfully, the hotel was only like 5 minutes away from the festival grounds, which was really smart on their side. And then we got there right at the nick of time. And then they tied us up again quickly, quickly. And then we went in for the procession. This kind of reminded me of a scene in Frozen where I believe it was Frozen 2 when she met the villagers and they did the whole ritual song and dance and they were thudding with stuff. So by now it's day 3. It's the morning of day 3. You already saw what happened. What happened the previous day was when we were giving our title names. That's the children were giving their title names and we took them. Now it is the morning of day 3, right? Remember it was a vigil, so we stayed awake into day 3. By I think we were done with the processions around 7:30. Everybody went back to the hotel. Our stomachs in trouble, our sleep destroyed, everything. We were just tired. So we took some drugs, had breakfast, showered, and went back to sleep. Yes, we went back to sleep. We slept till like 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and then it was time for prep for what I thought was going to be the final day, because then it was the main event, um tents everywhere, beautiful clothes, beautiful food, beautiful culture, everything. Yeah, that's what I thought. Then began to get ready. So we had a makeup artist coming, we had a hairstylist coming, we had a gilly, I don't know what they call them, but gilly stylists, we had them coming as well. Then we were all prepping and getting ready. Yeah, this was me getting my ichafu tied. I realized I've been saying gilly since. Please, ichafu, we're Igbo. Getting mine done. Look, everyone, my makeup was done by my sister. Everyone was looking good. This was my mom's suite, and yeah, just everyone looking good in their traditional attire. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Oh my God, this is my older sister. As the Ada, she was required to be dressed like this because of some of the rites which she was going to be performing, especially the ETUB, which would be spoken about there. Okay, so after getting ready, we looked really good, took pictures, then we had to get to the venue. Got there, we arrived. My dad and his brother had not gotten there yet because obviously the tradition had said that they were not to be there at the time. Then we got there, we got into the VIP tent, and then we were just waiting for the whole thing to start. Yeah, it's event time. The tents have been raised. Nothing had really even started here. I just needed to get this video before the whole place got crowded. These are my brothers. This is what our tent was looking like. Yeah. Then they asked us to come out again, tie wrapper again, and get into another procession. So this is like the third, technically like the fourth time that the thing you just saw, the going round, yes, that thing was about to happen again. And dancing, by the way, they were dancing and going round us with, but this time we were dancing and going around my dad and his brother. So there was the last event is called the Ethiopia, right? So what Ethiopia means is basically to come and the first daughters and first sons and the wives of the titled men, the men who were taking their title, would come and hug the men, right? While they are in the midst of the circle. The rest of us are dancing around them, but the people who I just mentioned will go in and hug them and give them like a pat on the back. And that's what Ethiopia basically is. So after the Ethiopia is enjoyment, enjoyment, enjoyment. And now it was dark. I was tired. It was end of day 3 and what was supposed to be the final day. But apparently there was one last day that we didn't really do a lot actually. We just went back to the Iba. They had like another ritual ceremony. In this one, they did something that intrigued me, right? Where we couldn't really see so much of what was going on, but I remember seeing that each of the men had a goat that they were to slaughter, and then after slaughtering the goat, they took the blood of the goat, they rubbed it on the staffs, and then coated the staff of the older chieftaincy holders. And then there was a particular man who was doing the job, coatings and then leaving it out to dry. And we pretty much left early because my older sister was to leave um Anambra State and go back to Enugu so that she could travel out of country again. Oh no. It's getting a bit it's getting a bit dusty. And yeah, the vlog is done. I'm just showing you my pretty face and slick back at this point. Bye. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. See you next time I post a video. Love you guys. Bye.